So nice, I'm doing it twice. Yeah, that's right, folks. I'm putting these books back in order. I already recorded half this video before I realized my mic was not hooked up because I am a freaking pro. It's been one of those days, one of those weeks, one of those months, and one of those years. Welcome back to the channel. I am Taylor. This is my weekly comic book review. I read through all of this, and I'm going to let you know what I thought about them all. Worst to best, except this is my take two, folks, so I'm going to do this a little differently, and I'm starting with this one. It's not the worst book of the week. It's not the best book of the week. It's an outlier book. It is a wordless comic called Zigzag on flimsy-ass paper. That's my biggest issue with this thing, is it's the print quality, and, like, it's already beat up. I did my best to take care of it, but, like, just getting it home loose. It doesn't fit into a box. It didn't fit into a bag or a board. It's trash dirty, and I didn't mean it to be, but I wanted to read it. And so, yeah. Will Sweeney. Now, speaking of the actual book itself, it's funky. It is bizarre. It tells us twisted, kind of surrealist tale of, like, people taking over robot bodies and taking over robot bodies and taking over robot bodies and getting taken over. It doesn't make a ton of sense, and it kind of circular in nature of the story, I think. I flipped through it twice. I read it. I mean, like, can you read something without words? Does that count as kind of reading? Or is that kind of, like, I mean, okay. I know audiobooks, people are like, I read an audiobook. I'm like, did you? You just kind of listened to it. I mean, you didn't really participate. This you at least have to look at. So I'm going to call it reading. Or I flipped through, I absorbed, I tried to dissect. Whatever. The art is cool. It reminds me of if Kirby and Mobius, that French artist, got together and wrote a trippy 1970s sci-fi story, or a story based on, like, that was made for, like, Liquid Television, the MTV show in the 80s, 90s. It's just a bizarre tale. It's not going to be for everybody. It is the outlier. It's not in this. I can't really rank it because it doesn't fit. So it's its own thing. It's a $7. It's a $7 book, and my biggest issue is for $7, I expect print quality, and I expect it at least to be perfect bound or have a thicker cover or something to help protect it. If I would have known it was this size, I put it on my pull list because it looked interesting enough. But if I would have known it was this size, I probably wouldn't have gotten it. And at $7, I expect a little more out of the actual quality of the paper and the stuff. I get why it's this big. I mean, you need it to breathe art wise, but, like, I don't know, do something else. Either charge $8 and make it better printed. Make it a square bound or do something. All right, now back to these books. I already ranted about half of them, so I'm going to try and rant again and see if I can keep the ranting energy up, people. For you. Reptile, whatever the hell you want to call it, #1. This is not a good book. Marvel is just kind of throwing shit at the wall and seeing what sticks. Part of my language, but, like, I don't know, it's a weird character. I think it was introduced in Avengers Academy, maybe, or something. I don't know. I don't care. I tried to care. I bought it because, like, oh, I get the FOMO. Like, I don't want to miss out. It might be a first appearance. It might be something cool. It might be a new kind of story. It is none of those things. It is the same-ish kind of Marvel origin, missing parents, going to live with, step family. It's a little more diverse, which is nice, but, like, the story itself is not. It's clunky, very clunky. There's a weird, clunky villain that's, like, cartoonishly bad, and not in a fun way, just a cartoonishly bad villain, and, like, really ham-fisted storytelling. That hampers this book. Same with this one, kind of. Honestly, the art reminds me. This is Mr. Miracle. What's it called? The Source of Freedom, #1. I like Mr. Miracle. I like the weird character design. I liked Jack Kirby's version. I liked Scott Free and Big Barda. I even liked Tom King's run on it. I do not like this. I tried. It's a different character playing, or a different person under with the mantle of Mr. Miracle, and it's a black guy, and it's an interesting take on that, and, like, the idea of a hidden identity to protect, himself. Because he's afraid of his reaction to, like, the hero being black. Although in the DC universe there are plenty of black heroes, so I'm a white guy. I'm privileged. I get it. It's an interesting enough idea, but the way this is told is just clunky. That there's the reveal at the end that's like, what, really? And like, the character's just kind of a twat too. The main character's not a super nice character, which I get you sometimes need to start with that and have a redemptive arc. But, like, I'm not along for this ride. I wanted to be, I'm just not. All right, we're going to do these a little quicker again. All three is. We're going to talk about all at once. Marvel Star Wars books have not been good lately. I wanted them to be. I like Star Wars, but like I think Marvel realizes like people will buy it no matter what as long as you put Star Wars on it. And so like Doctor Aphra, we're gonna say bad art. The art's just clunky and weird, and there's like couldn't tell some of the characters apart sometimes. And like the Doctor Aphra character is supposed to be a snarky, conniving backstabber slash smuggler kind of that mold, but there's nothing she does is clever. Nothing she does is that backstabby. It's just, yeah. I know I've said this in previous reviews. I just keep buying these because I have the FOMO, folks. I don't want to miss out on a first appearance that might be a $30,000 book 2 years later because this comic market is stupidly nuts. And I do love the Star Wars universe. I'm a fan. Like, love the Mandalorian and looking forward to these shows, but like, nah. Weapon of a Jedi. This is Adventures. I give Adventures a little more leeway. It's meant for a younger audience. Although no younger audience is reading comics, let's be honest. Like, comics are dying art. And, like, their pool of people that are reading is shrinking badly. And I don't think, like, 13-year-olds are picking up, like, Star Wars, the, Weapon of a Jedi, because, first of all, they don't care about Star Wars. Second of all, it's not an NFT. And third of all, it's not on TikTok. So, like, I don't know, it's just a sort of clunky Luke story. Like he's off to find some lightsaber. Probably not his. Maybe it is. Maybe it's one of the ones he wielded in the original trilogy of movies. Whatever. It's just it doesn't feel like the characterization's right, and the art. Like there were a couple panels where I couldn't tell the difference between Wedge and Luke, and that's not a good thing if you've ever watched any of the movies. So, yeah. All right. Darth Vader. Up until now, it's been okay, but Greg Pak can write a decent Darth Vader, but this is, like, you can sort of tell he's being shoehorned into an event that he doesn't want to be part of, like the War of the Bounty Hunters, and, like, it doesn't seem to fit the story he's telling with Darth, and, like, the art is real stiff in this issue, real stiff, and it's just, I don't know. Do better. Just make better books. I mean, you have all this fun universe to play in, tell fun stories, and I get you're kind of shoehorned in by the property and the way, like, the fact that, like, these things are all taking place in between movies, so nothing can really change in the characters. But, like, I think there's still better work that could be done than they're doing. Speaking of things that should be better, the Marvels, I wanted to like this more than I did. It's on my pull list. I had the whole series on here. I'm kind of regretting it now. I like Kurt Busiek. I loved Astro City. I liked his work on the original Marvels or Marvel with the photographer on the sideline of the Marvel Universe with Alex Ross. Except for he's sort of doing it all over again with another not the same, not a photographer, because nobody has a camera anymore. It's all on your phone and TikTok, and I said TikTok a lot. Tickety tockety, clunky, dated dialogue in here, and I don't know. It's just there's a nugget of an interesting story behind it all, so I'm gonna keep it going. But like, so far, it's just kind of a letdown. And yeah, I should probably go into a little more depth on these, but I'm going through these in round 2, and I'm tired, folks, so bear with me. All right, we're getting better, though. Blue Flame Adventure Magazine #1. This kind of reminds me, it's Chris Cantwell and Gorham, I can't remember the first name. It's a new universe, a new adventure, and Blue Flame is kind of a Rocketeer-ish type person, or mixed with a little bit of Nexus from Steve Rude. There's space adventure in here. There's a team thing on Earth in Milwaukee, which is kind of nice, although it could take place anywhere. I don't think they really show any of Milwaukee that's worth showing, but it's decent. It kind of reminds me a little bit of Radiant Black, just because Radiant Black came out a couple months ago, and it's fresh in my mind. It's not a bad one. I'm going to give it one more issue. Everything from here on out at least gets one more issue out of me. It's we'll see where it goes. There's a little bit of Adam Strange vibes in here as well. The art is solid. And the storytelling is solid enough. It's like there's just barely enough here to hook me. Again, not fantastic, but not bad. X-Men. Nimrod, the big pink marshmallow that could, is he's coming back and being bad. And it's how Nimrod comes back, and it's Hickman doing Hickman-y things like forwards in time, backwards in time. Do something, Hickman. Just do something. You have this premise with those books. You set them all up. No one can die, which takes away all your storytelling strength. Because like, oh, this character dies. They keep coming back. Whoop-de-damn-de-doo. There goes any kind of consequences. And you need to start doing some stuff to get this back on track. I know that stupid-ass X of Swords derailed everything, and that Marvel event was just a disaster. That it's like, oh, we're going to have a sword fight that really involves an eating contest with Wolverine, or whatever the hell it was. It was hot garbage. Okay, this... better. You know, it's sort of, you can sort of tell it's starting to go somewhere, but like, go somewhere already. Just go somewhere. Just do something. Now, next couple issues are gonna be some stupid Hellfire Gala that aren't gonna be anything either. But like, tell a tale. Tell like consequences. Progress a plot forward. This is doing it a very little, and it's just enough. But like, do more. Just do more. All right, Teen Titans Academy number 3. This is the best issue of Teen Titans Academy yet. That's not saying that much. It's not a high bar to leap because the first two were pretty bad. This is not bad. It's they're focusing more on a couple characters in here, which I think they realized they needed to do, and you know, it's okay. It's you know, the Suicide Squad comes in and kicks their ass, which that's not really spoilers in the cover, or they they get into a brawl. How about that? It's not really an ass kicking. It's still focused on Red X or whatever, and that part doesn't really interest me. Like, you have this school dynamic that really can be utilized well and can be fun and stuff, but like, it's just they're like, the teachers don't even care about the school. They set up the school to figure out who Red X is from the one I can tell. Like, okay, if that's your Titans that are in charge, yeah, well, I guess it's sort of an interesting premise. But it's decent. It's the best one. Like I said, it's the best one yet. I'll keep going on this for a little bit longer. Okay, Made in Korea number 1. This is an interesting book. This is like, childbirth for whatever reason is sort of like dwindled in the world, and so people are buying robot kids, and if you're rich, you can have a robot baby, and you can get them delivered from Korea, made in Korea, and there's 2 tales going on here. One A tale with the family's adopting one, and then one B tale that's tied together where like this Korean programmer or whatever is trying to get something out of Korea. That's not a whole lot of spoilers. Kind of, you can sort of tell that all right off the beginning. Interesting enough, I'm going to keep it up with it. It reminds me a lot of the show Humans, which was on like BBC or whatever. There's like where robots are kind of commonplace and stuff. So yeah, I don't want to spoil a whole lot of this one. It's earned a second issue for me. Strange Adventures number 10. This is where, oh no, a couple more, and then I realized I had no sound. Tom King. My friend at Titan Comic Pressing put it this way. He could take a 6-issue story and stretch it into 12 like nobody's business. And that's kind of what he's done with this. We're 10 issues in, and this is sort of starting to get to maybe, possibly, what is the truth behind it. Maybe not. Maybe the whole point of this book is you're never going to know the truth of what happened in war. And if that's the case, it's a good 12-issue way to say it, because you still don't have any real idea what's going on in this damn book. The art's gorgeous, though. Mitch Gerads and Evan Shaner are making some fantastic art. It's glorious. The story, Tom King does like to give his stories room to breathe, and he writes for 12. He'll write for the finished product and stuff, and that, I don't know, you can probably wait for the finished product. I'm 10 issues in, so I'm committed. I'm going to buy the last 2, and I'm hoping there's some resolution at the end. Art alone is enough for me to keep going on this, but you got to get somewhere. You gotta give me a point at some point. Robin. I'm pleasantly surprised by this series. I never gave a rat's ass about Robin, any of them, like Nightwing or whatever they're all called. I can't remember who. There's Dick Grayson. There's the second one, right? And then there's, how many Robins have there been? Like 14? Who knows? This is the cranky one, right? The Damian Wayne. That's him and Al Ghul got together, made a kid. Whatever. Robin's off to do a Robin-y things, and he's like a overconfident, like, little twat. He's kind of a douchebag, and he is violent and angry, and likes to kill people, and supreme confidence in his abilities because he's trained by Batman, and he gets his ass handed to him in the first issue, and this is kind of the consequences of that. Although you kind of realize there's not a whole lot of consequences. It's an island full of contests and stuff. It's well told. It's fun. There's a bunch of first appearances in here, so if you're speculating, pick it up. This is like Flatline or whatever, probably first cover. Who knows if it'll turn into anything? Everybody specs on all this crap nowadays, though. And I don't talk a lot about spec because I don't care, and it drives me nuts to like try and it makes my brain hurt. But yeah, like I said, Robin is better than I thought it would be. Not as good as Nightwing, but on the whole, I think DC is making better books than Marvel right now. Which I never, like a year ago, I don't think I would have said that. So yeah, Robin 2. But now we're back to Marvel for a few, so I might be eating my words, but nah, not really. But I don't care. Beta Ray Bill number 3. when this series started, I thought it'd be an introspective look at Beta Ray Bill and like his quest for like peace and solitude and stuff. It's not. It's not. This is an over the top action romp. You have Scourge, you're really, shooting guns and going nuts. You have his ship Scuttlebutt being turned into a female robot that's probably is a little horny for Beta Ray Bill, and you've got like Beta Ray Bill questing to find his giant sword. So if that's not a metaphor for like trying to regain some virility, I don't know what is. But it's fun. It's Daniel Warren Johnson is telling a romp of a tale, and yeah, it's not as deep as I thought it would be, but it's just kind of an over the top action goodness. So, all right, Heroes Reborn. I thought it was America Reborn. It's about America. This book's American. Dr. Spectrum is in this. It's one of the Squadron Supreme. This is the premise of this is, what if Captain America was never found, so the Squadron Supreme happened and there's no Avengers, and this is nothing of consequence is going to come out of this damn series. You just know it. And Jason Aaron, I think, knows it too. He's writing it, and James Stocco is on board for each issue. And each issue is like a self-contained story. And basically, they're all what ifs with Squadron Supreme, and like, what if the Squadron Supreme was like a nationalist douchebag, or what if Dr. Spectrum was a nationalist douchebag, and this is that. And so like, he's really pro-America no matter what, and like kicking the ass out of everybody because they're not American, and like American dominance in space. And then Rocket Raccoon shows up with Groot as a gun. Not a whole lot of spoilers, but I mean, yeah, you just have to read this one. James Stocco's art's not for everybody. He does over the top kind of indie style art, and like he colors his own stuff, and I think he inks his own stuff as well. So give it a whirl. I like this a lot. I think it's a lot of fun. I think it's a crazy story, but it's not going to go anywhere. Like there's nothing essential in this. Like you can get it, or if you like James Stocco, I'd say pick it up. If not, there's no need. Last Ronin number 3. Yeah, I mean I don't read all the Turtle stuff, right? So I don't know everything, but like you don't really need to. They kind of fill in the backstory of how the Turtles all kick the turtle bucket, I guess. Art is solid. Kevin Eastman and other folks are putting together a pretty decent tale. The layout, I think he's doing he or Laird are doing I don't know, can't ever tell them apart. They're doing layouts and stuff. You're going to buy this regardless of whether or not I tell you to, as far if you're a Turtles fan. But like from a non-Turtles fan perspective, it's a pretty solid story. The art's decent, and like, fairly. When I think Turtles, I always think back to the original, like the kind of chunky art, and it's not any of that. I mean, there's a little bit where they like the couple of flashback pages where they, the original, is it Leesman? Whatever, it doesn't matter. Is doing the art on it, but like for the most part, it's like heavily detailed, pretty fine art and stuff, and it's really well executed, well drawn, interesting story. I think it wraps up. I think there's only 4, right? There's only 4 of these. I don't know. Let me know in the comments. But yeah, last Ronin number 3, worth reading. All right, we're getting there. We are getting there. Number 4. This is, I think, the penultimate issue. I just like saying that word, penultimate, because it's a cool word. Angry, sad old clown lady lives alone, and then it's kind of a predictable tale. That's my criticism of this. Is the story itself is, W. Maxwell Prince can tell these horror stories and stuff. This is not really a horror story. It has tinges, minor, but like, if I were to tell you, like, a young kid on a dare and an old lady lives alone, you could probably write the entire story yourself. The art, though, is great, and, it still hits all these melancholy beats and touches on the idea of loneliness and old age and, like, living your last years on your own, and, like, if society is changing around you. So it touches on some pretty, interesting topics and stuff that I can relate to. I'm getting old and cranky. But it's not my favorite issue of this, but it's still solid. Number 4. Shadow Service, number 8. I don't think anyone else is reading this book. Maybe they are, but I really don't think they are. It's a shame. It's a fun tale of like MI666 and like double-crossing government agencies and agents that work for them, and they're getting double-crossed and are double-crossing and are having conflicts and trying to save the world, and it's a romp. It would make probably a fun TV show. It's one of my sleeper indie hits. Probably not a hit, but one of my sleeper indie books. I've enjoyed this from issue 1. I couldn't tell you the main character's name. That's my flaws in this are like, but I'm also bad with names. The main character has like innate magical abilities, but doesn't really know how to use them. There's a talking magical rat in here. That's kind of fun, and she gets into trouble. In case you can't tell from the cover, there's heart ripping outs and lots of death and destruction. But yeah, it's like you probably would want to start with issue 1 if you can find it. You can probably find these first couple pretty cheap because I don't think anyone's specking on this book. But yeah, Shadow Surface number 8. Get up there. I liked it quite a bit. Another one I didn't expect to be this high on the list though, but I'm enjoying is the Alien series by Phil Kennedy Johnson and Salvador Larroca. The art is gorgeous. Salvador Larroca does a great job, and like it's just capturing the feel of the original Alien, first 2 Alien movies pretty well. There's quest to go do something that's maybe not up on the up and up. There's characters that you're revisiting like Bishop from the movies and stuff, and you get a good sense of horror, a good sense of dread, and a sense that like not everyone's gonna definitely making it out alive in this venture, and probably new alien horrors to boot. And it's an interesting way to start. It's kind of a smaller tale than I expected Marvel to tell, as far as like how to start back into the Marvel. Like it's not really tying into the Marvel universe at all, but it's still in the Alien universe. But yeah, it's a solid story. Yeah, and if you're into Alien, pick it up. All right, I've got 2 left. So, thank you for sticking through this long. Appreciate it. Department of Truth number 9. This is the, like, you get some revelations in here where, like, the government's maybe not as good as they say they are, but they're also maybe not the bad guy. Maybe. And it's this whole book is a pretty, like, the whole main chunk of this is a one-sided conversation. But it's a riveting one. And it's, like, the ideas of, like, one of the characters as far as, like, how he is explaining the world, like as far as like what matters and how the truth can be manipulated, and how that, or there is no absolute truth, and how like facts can be formed to fit your needs via the media, and how that actually changes the world. It's a pretty interesting statement, and like I think James Tynan might watch a bit of news too, and also I think is probably loving the ripe things. If he looks on Facebook, he's probably got enough plot to last him 40 years. So, solid art again by what's his face? I can't remember the name. Simmons, and kind of the dirty, grungy, and it's like it really reminds me of Bill Sienkiewicz, and that's not a bad thing. So, if you've been liking Department of Truth, you probably will still really like this issue. If you're not, I don't know what to tell you. Don't read it. But yeah, Department of Truth, solid story. And my favorite book of the week, I think it's probably been on this list 3 of the past 4 times. Nuclear Family, number 4. This is just a bizarre sci-fi romp that apparently is based on a Philip K. Dick story. I haven't read the story. But, this family in Milwaukee, they're starting to set stories in Milwaukee, which is cool, but I don't think any of these writers have ever actually been to Milwaukee. Doesn't matter. 1950s Americana, post-World War II, Soviet horror, nuclear fear, all that. And the nuclear bomb goes off, bam! 10 years later, they're in a big underground city bunker thingy, trying to figure out what's going on. There might or might not be nuclear zombies. The government might or might not have started the whole thing. There might or might not be time travel. And it kind of does still also remind me of Fallout. So, it's... Yeah, I think... There might only be 1 issue left of this, too. But, I mean, I'm along for this. I like where this is going. Nuclear Family. It is my book of the week. The art by Tony Chastain, it takes a minute to get used to, but I really enjoyed it as well. And, yeah, I don't have a whole lot else to say. I kind of did have this video again first time around, and I was much more eloquent. So just imagine I was really clever, and, you missed it. All right, that's all I've got, folks. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. As always, hit the like button, hit the subscribe bell, hit the notification thing if you want to know when these come out, although I do try and stick to a semi-regular schedule with some of this. But, yeah, please let me know in the comments below. What was your favorite book of the week? What did I miss? What should I be reading? I know I picked up Something's Killing the Children. I'm just not caught up on it yet, so, I'm not going to review the new issue because I'm 10 issues behind. I'll get there. I will get there. But yeah, let me know if you disagree with my comments. You think I'm nuts. You just think I'm being cranky this week. You hate my hat. Let me know all this stuff. That's fine. I can take it. I'm a big boy. And, yeah. And on that note, if you really want to support the channel and you think, it's all fine. I mean, whatever he says, it's fine. You can go buy It's Fine t-shirt. Link in the description. If not, that's fine too. Have a good one. Have a good night. Have a good day. Have a good week, month, or even a year. Don't be a dick.